Hey guys, Wyatt Claypool here, and welcome back to the National Telegraph YouTube channel. It's almost like Prime Minister Mark Carney doesn't actually want to get a trade deal signed with Donald Trump and the Americans. My evidence? Well, he keeps talking to people that Donald Trump hates for no reason. I don't know why, but for some reason, Mark Carney needed to have a big photo op with former US President Barack Obama, who famously does not get along with Donald Trump. In this Twitter post, Mark Carney says, "Welcome back to Canada, President Barack Obama. Thank you for joining us in Toronto for important conversations on how we can build a better and more just future and empower more people to build with us." And it comes with this very cringy video of them walking up to each other and shaking hands. I always find stuff like this annoying. Like, we're all supposed to be sitting there thinking, oh my goodness, it's so iconic watching Obama shake hands with Mark. What is this helping Canada? Just, riddle me this. How does this help Canada? It is a riddle for the ages. And because the answer is very simple, this doesn't help us at all. In fact, it makes us look really stupid and petty right now. And you could say, well, Trump's petty if he has a problem with this. You got me. Oh my goodness. He's petty for caring about this at the same time that we would obviously have a complete meltdown if Donald Trump just started having Oval Office meetings with Stephen Harper just in the middle of us not getting a trade deal signed. Trump just started talking about how much he liked to deal with Stephen Harper, and he started talking with like Paul Martin and whatnot. We would all have a problem with that. We would see that as an obvious insult to the current prime minister who he has not yet signed a deal with. But the problem in this entire scenario is that it has been consistently Carney's fault that he has not gotten a deal signed. Yes, we can say that Trump has seemingly been unreasonable on things. Sure, we also have tariffs on them. They have tariffs on us. We've had supply management tariffs for decades. Now we have to deal with the reality of how do we actually end this tariff issue? How do we do that? And Carney, for some reason, thinks that the way we're going to do that, and really, I don't think he thinks this is going to help. I think he's deliberately doing this to hurt us. But on the surface, he's going to invite a bunch of very left wing Democrats to Ottawa to talk with him and his wife in fireside chats and musing about why is America so bad right now. Yeah, this is definitely going to win us a lot of friends. But before I get into some of the clips I want to show you guys here, I just want to remind you, if you like the channel, make sure to leave a like on this video, hype it if you're on the mobile app, leave a comment with what you think about all this. And of course, if you want to help sustain the channel and allow me to be less reliant on the algorithm, join my fantastic members by hitting the join button below the video title, and you can become a channel member too and make a small contribution per month to sustaining the YouTube channel. Anyways, now we will be getting into the conversations that ended up taking place at this event. This is called Canada 2020. I don't know why that is, and I don't really care to look into it. But at this event, of course, we have some old liberals popping back up to pay their respects. We have Omar Al Gabra, our former awful transportation minister, ended up attending this event. And he says, it is wonderful to listen to the thoughtful and hope inspiring Barack Obama at the Canada 2020 20th anniversary dinner. And of course, we have Barack Obama doing a fireside chat moderated by Mark Carney's wife, Diana Fox. Now, Mark Carney has even actually marketed his own wife as being more than just the wife of the prime minister, that she actually, kind of like Hillary Clinton when Bill Clinton was president, that she has her own thoughts and her own ideas that she's feeding in. To which I say, we didn't elect her. Have her go and sit in the corner like any prime minister, premier spouse should do. Danielle Smith is married, the premier of Alberta. I never want to see her husband anywhere. If I ever see him, I do not want to be able to visually recognize him because I should never see him. Now, if I do recognize somebody, I'm kind of joking here, but you get my point. I shouldn't actually care about who the prime minister is married to. But it kind of does matter here when we're doing sit down fun chats with the guy who mocked Donald Trump and said that he's never going to become the president. And since Donald Trump was president the first time and now the second time, has just been chirping him the entire time and supporting very left-wing Democratic candidates in primaries and whatnot. He was just licking Zoran Mamdani clean the other day. He is very much a hard left progressive these days. He is a big fan of Bernie Sanders and AOC and Ilhan Omar, and we are now going to have him in Canada tell us what? How to not get a trade deal signed, because that's the only thing he could inform us how to do. And the way he could tell us to do that is just keep doing exactly what you're doing. But well, here's what we even had from back in April of 2025 when it came to Diana Fox. This was a global news article from right after the election. It says Diana Fox, Carney is more than just the prime minister's spouse. No, just be the prime minister's spouse. I will applaud her if she is capable of just being the prime minister's spouse. Because right now, she's just helping sink the trade deal. Mark Carney and his wife are sinking the trade deal. I'm gonna show you a little bit of what was talked about on some of these panels to give you some flavor. Here is our current industry minister. There's a bald man on the left. I don't know who that is, so forgive me if I don't know your name, sir. But in the middle, we have our current industry minister, Melanie Joly, and on the right, we have I think it's also former U.S. Transportation Minister Pete Buttigieg, the former mayor of South Bend, Indiana. He is not currently an office holder. He is not currently running for anything, to my knowledge. But we are going to bring him to Canada so that Melanie Joly and him can muse about how Trump's America is so terrible.
I guess the way I put it is we can get you a shorter work week and more money in your pocket and more security for your family. And we can do it with the tools and resources that we have as a country already if we were willing to make different political choices.
And Pete, I want to say in front of everyone how much what you were referring to regarding, basically the system in the U.S. and politics as money is inspiring, because of course we're following every day what is going on, and what is going on in the U.S. doesn't stay in the U.S. It has an impact across the world. Obviously, here we have very strong rules, but if the U.S. democracy is not working well, it has an impact on all democracies. So just the very
Sorry, how is U.S. democracy not working right now? Like, Melanie Joly, you rubbed together your 2 IQ points to tell me how democracy is not working in the United States, and then as a supplemental question, how is it working better in Canada than it is in the United States? I would love to know. We just had an election where the Liberals got a minority government, and now they currently hold the majority of seats. To my knowledge, that didn't happen in the U.S., but now we're just going to take snarky shots at the U.S. from Canada. These people, Joly, Dominic LeBlanc, and Mark Carney, are supposed to get a trade deal signed, but instead we are going to snark it up on stage with a former mayor who then became a really awful transportation minister or transportation secretary when Joe Biden was the president.
Possibility of being able to change it, to amend the Constitution, is a very important message that, yes, I hope Americans want to hear, and I can't speak for them because I'm not an American, but I think that the rest of the world would love to be hearing. So I'm just cheering for you on that.
I guess.
So, yeah, this was stupid. How did nobody from the Liberal government not come up with the shepherd's hook and pull Melanie Joly off stage? Again, we were wondering, Trump actually doesn't really take that many shots at Canada. He had his 51st date joke, but it clearly was never going anywhere. It was a dumb repeated joke. We have the former secretaries of the Biden administration sitting on stage with our current industry minister talking about how American democracy is bad and the country is doing terrible things to the world. Yeah, I guarantee Trump's just chomping at the bit now to sign something with us. By the way, too, I have to go back to the Barack Obama thing. Barack Obama coming to Canada is quite funny if you kind of know the background of Barack Obama and what his foundation funds. So I posted this after Mark Carney posted the weird video of him shaking hands with Barack Obama. I posted this. When you see this video and Carney's wife having a fireside chat with Barack Obama, remember that the Obama Foundation funds the Tides Foundation that is dedicated to stopping oil and gas in Canada. If you like the vision of the world that Barack Obama has, remember that Barack Obama himself is very much an anti-oil leftist. He is somebody who does not want Canada's oil and gas industry to expand. He does not want pipelines built. He canceled the Keystone XL pipeline. And we're going to get this guy's advice on how to do what exactly. Mark Carney, if anything, is actually kind of like Barack Obama. He is a massive, massive liar. Barack Obama would pretend to be somebody who doesn't oppose the oil and gas industry, but he would throw up as many barriers as possible to prevent its expansion. And that's exactly what Mark Carney is doing. He is going to continue to pretend to be Mr. Pipeline by saying yes to every pipeline available while never actually doing anything to make sure they happen, giving veto power to everyone in existence to make sure that the pipeline never actually gets built. And by the way, do you know who ended up showing up with Mark Carney, with Barack Obama to this event? Yeah. So Alex Soros, George Soros's son, came with Barack Obama to Canada for Canada 2020. Yeah, so that isn't that great. We're also having other people who fund Tides showing up. The entire Tides committee is coming to Canada. All the people whose foundations fund hard left socialists and environmental front groups. Yes, let's make sure those people are invited to dinner. I'm sure Donald Trump is picking up the phone right now to tell Mark Carney that he wants no tariffs. Actually, Canada can keep all of its tariffs on the U.S., but America is going to remove all of its tariffs on Canada. That's the deal he now wants because he invited every partisan left-wing Democrat to come to dinner in Canada and talk about how terrible the United States is currently under Donald Trump. My goodness, people. Yeah, so the trade deal is sunk for the foreseeable future, and anyone pretending like, oh, Trump's just sensitive. You guys were freaking out about 51st state jokes, and then Doug Ford ran anti-Trump ads, put tens of millions of dollars behind anti-Trump ads in the United States, and then we called Trump sensitive for that. We got freaked out by a joke, and then we said he shouldn't be sensitive of running tens of millions of dollars of anti-Trump, basically election ads against him, when we would never put up with that coming from the other side. Do we really think that if Montana Republican Governor Gianforte started just running anti-Carney ads in Canada, even just $1 million of it, would we be okay with that? Obviously not. We would have every single crazy leftist like Laura Babcock screaming about how this is war and we should roll the tanks over the Montana border to get rid of Gianforte. Oh my goodness. Anyways, so everything sucks still because the Liberals do not want to live in reality and they just want to basically have Canada become the stage for anti-Trump politics rather than just trying to, make Canadians less poor, more successful, safer, all that stuff. Who cares about it? Actually, this does remind me, I do want to play this last video of Pierre Poilievre. I actually think he did a really good, small, short little video the other day, and I think he should do more stuff like this. He's done walk and talk videos before that are okay, but sometimes when they're too long and it's kind of too much detail, the party faithful will watch it, but the average person who doesn't really engage in hours of politics every day is not going to watch it. I really like this just 23-second video of Poilievre just very obviously mocking Mark Carney's lack of accomplishments this last year.
Breaking news, everyone. A year after promising to build the unimaginable at speeds not seen in generations, Prime Minister Carney has announced that he is decisively launching a discussion paper. And if that doesn't give you whiplash, there's even a rumor around Ottawa that he will soon strike a committee to look into the matter. Buckle up, everyone. We're building Canada strong.
I do like stuff like that. I think that mocking Mark Carney's credentials actually is kind of an Achilles heel of the man. I think he really doesn't like when Poilievre gives him advice on trade and tells him what he's doing wrong, because he sees himself as better than somebody like Pierre Poilievre and Donald Trump and Danielle Smith. He sees himself as an elite, and those people are all non-sophisticates. And so the more Poilievre just kind of pokes fun at the fact that he's a complete fraud when it comes to his economic credentials, when it comes to his supposed master skills at negotiating, I think it will eventually get under Mark Carney's skin and force him to make errors that he wouldn't have done otherwise. Well, anyways, guys, in the coming days, I will be trying to do some more polling videos on the whiteboard again. There's a poll out right now from Abacus data that shows that the Liberals are currently leading by 10 points over the Conservatives. Now, do I believe that if an election happened, the Liberals would win by 10 points? No, it's not like a crazy unrealistic poll. I think that's just very much on the high Liberal margin of error. I would say that the real distance between the Liberals and Conservatives right now is probably more like what Angus Reid has them at, which is +7 Liberals or +6 Liberals. That would still be a big majority for Carney if he won a national election with 6% margin on the popular vote. But I always think that whenever a new poll comes out and the Conservatives are doing a bit worse, everyone freaks out. And I always say, guys, like, wait a month. The polls can reverse. Carney can have a good news cycle. The good news cycle drops out. And then eventually everyone realizes, oh my goodness, we've lost tens of thousands of jobs this year. For what benefit? What's Carney actually doing to help the economy? The economy eventually always catches up to the prime minister. And I'm just hoping that it is sooner than later. But anyways, with all that being said, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Consider hitting the join button and becoming a National Telegraph member. And I'll see you guys all later.